What do the arts mean to me? Well, they mean everything. Because without the arts, I wouldn't be the person I am today. You see, I was just 8 when my mother died, and I'm an only child. So I could have had a very lonely and sad and solitary little existence when I was growing up. But I didn't, because I read books, and I was taken to the cinema, and occasionally I was taken to the theatre as a treat. And the BBC used to produce wonderful Sunday tea time dramas. And all of those things introduced me to people and places and cultures and events that I would never have come across in a little terraced house in the East End of London. And they also introduced me to lots of families, and I was very selective about the ones I wanted to adopt me. So you might find me in any given morning emptying my piggy bank and counting my coins with the bank's children. Then I'd have lashings of ginger beer for lunch with the famous 5 before running off to the railway sidings to play with the railway children. I reserved the weekends for the Pevenses because we needed to have big adventures in Narnia. And one summer, I spent the entire holiday finishing the final chapter of a novel and eating lots of apples with Jo March from Little Women. But best of all, I was the 8th Von Trapp. Years later, when I was in a touring production of A Christmas Carol, I remember having a tear in my eye every night when Scrooge used to say that his boyhood friends were all his books. But I knew how he felt. And as I got older, I used the arts as a shield. I went to a pretty rough state comprehensive in East London. I didn't look like everyone else. I certainly didn't speak like everyone else. I wasn't sporty. And I wasn't very good at social interaction with people of my own age because I didn't have to do it at home. So I was a prime candidate for bullying. But nobody was going to pick on the lead in the school show. And those school shows, they were wonderful. They gave underprivileged children the opportunity to shine in areas they never thought possible. They gave parents the opportunity to be proud of children who weren't good academically, weren't terribly sporty, but could show that they could do something, and we all worked as a team. And that was the most important thing. Those shows taught us about teamwork, they gave us confidence, and they gave us the ability to look outside of ourselves and our own small world. Certainly for me, my lifelong love of history comes from the school musicals. There was always some education there. Fiddler on the Roof, Russian pogroms, history of the Jews, Sound of Music, the rise of Nazism, and George Bernard Shaw and all his social commentary when we did My Fair Lady. I've said for a long time now, education and entertainment do not have to be mutually exclusive. And never was that more obvious than in those school productions. We all learnt so much, and not just our lines. So now I'm working in the theatre. I say loosely because no one's working in the theatre at the moment. The theatre is dying. The arts aren't valued. And my heart is breaking. Not really for me, although it would be nice to have a bit of work occasionally or something to look forward to. But for all those children like me, from poorer backgrounds, from sad family backgrounds, who won't have the opportunities that I had unless we do something to save the arts now. That's what the arts mean to me. Everything.
Why are the arts important to me? Well, firstly, it's my living, though not so much at the moment. However, it's much more important than that. I think it's about expression and freedom. I think whether you're partaking in the arts or whether you're an audience member of them, it's about that feeling that we can step out of the normal world, even just for a while, just a short while. However, the parallels are there with what we go through normally. And I think that's one of the powers of the arts. We can talk about our normal world in a different way, and what that does is creates different perspectives and different thought processes. And that's not just those at the top of their game, you know, that's from everyone grassroots up. That's from people who have never before been performing arts and want to do performing arts. I've done a lot of work in mental health, teaching physical theatre, not for people who want to get on a stage, but to allow them some freedom, just to allow them to break out of the normality that perhaps they face. And that's a great point. I think children and people with mental health or physical disabilities can express themselves. They get the chance to do that. Often people don't get to hear their voice. We live in society and we're confined to conform to the things that society teaches us to do, and I think sometimes the arts is there to allow us to break that, to allow us to have those moments where we are just free. We are absolutely free, whatever it is we're doing, however long we're doing it for. And I think that's so important. I mean, this lockdown has been a great servant to prove just how important the arts have been. I mean, where would we have been without box sets and box sets? Updates on social media, silly comic videos, just to make us laugh, just to take us away for a few moments from the reality of what we face. So I really think for me the important thing of arts has always been the expression, the freedom, and the openness to all. It's accessible to all. We can all create, we can all make, we can all let ourselves go for a little while, and that is why the arts is so important.
What do the arts mean to me? Well, the simple and possibly cliched answer is everything. I mean, let's face it, the arts have been there for us and have supported us throughout this lockdown and meant that we've been able to keep something of our sanity. I mean, the arts is everything to anyone. It helps keep people together, especially during these tricky times. And the arts, particularly theatre, is so woven into the identity of this country that it's honestly heartbreaking that it's an aspect that's seemingly being ignored by the government and is at a huge risk of fading away, which is just incomprehensible, seeing as how you think of this country, you can't not think of theatre. To me, the arts means passion, love, and dedication, because people that work in this industry, be it on stage or off stage or behind the camera or in front of the camera, put so much of those three elements into every single piece of work that they do. Among other things, the arts provide us with the entertainment that we so desperately need. We would be at such an unthinkable loss if we didn't have the arts industry. And let's face it, if we lived in a world without the arts, well, you can't deny, life would be so fucking boring.
What does the arts mean to me? Being born with minor autism, I always found it hard to express myself, to say the right things or show how I was feeling. But when I was at home or on the school playground, I would be full of energy playing different characters from TV, films or books. When I started doing acting classes, I felt this sense of rebirth, this enjoyment, working with others. I went from this introvert to an expressive individual. I enjoyed making friends, working with different people. And since then, the arts has helped me grow as an individual. It's taken me to places that I never thought I would go to, from Edinburgh to perform in different venues that I would only imagine. It's given me the opportunity to see many great productions, many great shows, work with great individuals, and just shows the power of new writing and how it reflects our ever-changing world. It's shown me different subjects that I never thought of exploring or had no idea of. It made me feel like I was part of something, working with great collaboratives. What does the arts mean to me? The arts is about people coming together to express, enjoy and share, to escape from the mundanes of their world and enter a new one. A world without the arts is just grey, dark, just like my introvertness. What does the arts mean to me?
Yes, my love of the arts goes way back to childhood. When I was about 4 years old, my mum took me to see The Snow Queen. I remember it was so terrifying, like the lights and all the effects and everything. The girl that played the baddie was quite menacing, and like I was terrified. But I also absolutely loved it, and it inspired me to get involved in like drama and things at school. I was quite a shy kid. I'd learned difficulties, a lot of kind of like childhood struggles, and by joining the theatre group, it kind of helped me socialise more. It helped me with my confidence. Another play that I was obsessed with was Peter Pan as well. And through my love of the arts, I went to drama groups, went to college, I got to travel and perform and things like that as well. And I ended up being able to play the character that I'd seen as a kid on stage. I got to play Captain Hook, and I think the reason that was so special for me is when I first seen it, there was so much magic when I went to see the show. I even remember when I was at school as well, we had to watch Dracula and write about all the kind of everything they did to do with the set and everything as well. And it was just a magical experience that just never leaves you when you go and see a play. And then more recently, I've seen things like Ghost Stories, the Twilight Zone play. They are just, they don't leave you. They stay with you. It's an experience all in itself. It's not just going to theatre. It's like a life-changing experience.
Hello, my name's Kevin Meeks, and I'm a fan of the theatre, and I want to plead for government support for the theatre industry until they're able to open their doors again. I used to live abroad, and one of the things that I missed the most while I was away was the opportunity to go to the theatre. We have an absolutely world-class industry, staffed by hundreds of thousands of people and visited by millions, generating billions in ticket sales every year. And we're letting it wither, and it is absolutely heartbreaking. I recently ordered this small piece of artwork, a picture of the Olivier Award nominees for this year. And here on one sheet of paper is an example of why we should be protecting this industry. So many amazing productions currently off air and with no indication as to when they're going to be able to start again. We need to protect this industry. There are so many livelihoods at risk, and we're going to lose these people, perhaps permanently. Please help save the industry and bring us back where we need to be, at the forefront of the world stage. Thank you.
What the arts mean to me? I'd say that they mean everything. I think there's been so many difficult periods of my life, especially growing up in a very rough area. And, you know, without being able to go into a local amateur dramatics club, you know, would I have been able to stay on the right path? I'm not too sure if I would have. So, you know, the arts mean a lot to me because of that. The arts also means a lot to me because it's helped me grow as a person, as an individual. I've met some really fantastic teachers along the way. And I've also had the privilege of working with a bunch of talented actors and actresses as well as producers, directors. It's a very, very tough industry. You know, there's no getting away from that. You know, you have to face a lot of rejections. The amount of rejections you face probably outweighs the amount of success stories that you'll have. But in all honesty, you know, those rejections make you a stronger person. You know, the more difficulties that you go through in this industry, the sweeter and sweeter the success becomes. I believe that without acting, my mental health would have suffered a lot over the years. And I believe that, being able to get onto stage and, escape out of your own reality and go into the world of your character, it's been a blessing, it truly has. And, I'd like to thank a lot of the people who follow me on Twitter, the people that I've connected with, the people that I hope to work with in the future. Because, theatre faces the theatre industry is going to face a lot of struggles ahead, and we've only got each other to get each other through it. So, yeah, feel free to DM me, feel free to collaborate with me, and hope to see you all soon.
The theatre industry is an essential industry. It is essential because theatre is the art of storytelling. Throughout history, human beings have always been storytellers. It is a deep part of our identity. We like to tell stories, we like to listen to stories. It is a fundamental part of our emotional and intellectual growth. Theatre can educate us. It can confront us with issues, with people, with politics, with histories, with societies that we may never have been confronted with before. It is a platform for people of all backgrounds, a platform for all voices to tell their stories, to be understood and to help us understand, to help us grow as a society. Theatre can also help us understand who we are individually. There have been many times when I've seen a play that has clarified something in my life, something from my past, something which may have been traumatic, something which I was struggling to deal with, and I have seen it explained, seen it illuminated through the art of acting and light and sound on the wooden boards of a stage. Theatre is essential. Storytelling is essential. It is essential because it keeps us in touch with who we are as people. It keeps us in touch with our own humanity. Thank you for listening.
What the arts mean to me. I was one of those shy, weird kids who lived in her head. I used to tell stories to amuse myself and sometimes my classmates when they got bored during lunchtime. Luckily, when the first school play that I was able to be in was on, I played a comet. My mum made a white onesie that had aluminium foil streamers on the arms, like the tails of a comet. And I remember the very first time that I entered the stage and ran on, because I was supposed to be flying with arms streaming behind me, and the audience just laughed in appreciation. They weren't laughing at me, they just were so struck by this little tiny thing running around the stage, and I just knew I was home and I belonged there. And I went to a high school where it was a vocational high school, so I had drama and music and art, and from there I developed a love for the theatre and film and libraries and art galleries and concert halls and ballet. And right now we don't have any of that, and it's like the soul has been sucked out. That's what the arts mean. It's my soul.
To all of you watching this, you most likely have an obsession with the theatre as much as I do. Of course, everyone has different experiences and perspectives on how and why you adore it. For me, theatre is community, is family, is many voices in many times and many places. It is one in its diversity. Every voice, every word expressing itself of being part of something much bigger. Once found, theatre becomes both your present and your future. It becomes your life and is life. You wake up in the morning and think, I love this. You meet people from all walks of life, no barriers, no limits. There are times you both learn and teach without even realizing it. Theatre gives you a path to express yourself in ways an everyday life never would. As an actor, I want to tell you a story, to be truthful in an imaginary world, to share and reach into the souls of the audience and in turn bear my own soul to them. But theatre is more than just about the acting. It is also a challenging place, a probing place, a happy place where you can go and experience a story told. It is a world where you get to play different roles and perform, and where you can help bring productions to life. Receiving a standing ovation cannot ever be taken for granted. That love and appreciation never fails to strike deep into my heart. That complete connection, that moment shared when actors and audience become one within the storytelling. One of my most enlightening moments was watching a show I had both written and directed. I watched the audience come in, sit in anticipation for what was to come, watch their reactions as the actors took them on an emotional journey paved with words, silences and actions. It never ceases to amaze me. To have been blessed with that is priceless.
Hello there, I'm Andrew Lawden, professional actor, and was asked today, what do the arts mean to me? So I wrote down some things and here's what I came up with. It means the enjoyment you give to others, giving a performance on the stage, live every night. It means touching people when you sing those songs and musicals. Exciting the people with the action and fights in a feature film, creating drama in a TV series. It means a job for all the producers, directors, writers, stage staff, makeup, wardrobe, dancers, singers, the casting people who bring us in for the jobs. It means great revenue for this country and one of the greatest cultural exports in the world. And it needs your help right now. It needs you to care, to survive, to reopen these studios and theatres and get us working once more. If you want to carry on seeing all this, act now. That's all we ask. Act now to help us. Every other section has had financial help except ours. And it would mean a lot to me and many thousands of others to be able to go and do one of the best jobs in the world that I personally have trained for and done for nearly 30 years. It means a lot to be able to make a difference, turning up on set, walking on stage, doing a voiceover, and give the joy of performance. So now I ask you, the government at the highest level, to make a difference yourselves. Show us that you care. Save our industry. Act now. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is John Craggs. I'm the creator of @SupportBritish Twitter account. What do the arts mean to me? Well, I suppose the first experience I had of theatre was when I was about 8 and my aunt took me to the Hull New Theatre to see pantomime. And this was something that I'll never ever forget, the colours, the costumes, the story, everything. And it just amazed me, and it's something that really stuck. And I think somewhere in the back of my mind that said to me, this is what you want to do as a living. Many visits to the theatre with my mother to see various shows, meeting various stars backstage. I was hooked. And at the age of 18, I decided to do some amateur dramatics. Really enjoyed that. Did that for about 3 or 4 years. Then went on to just work in a shop for a few years, and decided at the ripe old age of 28, I'm going to go to drama school, and I did. So, what do the arts mean to me? I suppose, as an actor, going into a rehearsal room, creating, discussing, working on the character, working with the other actors, and walking in somebody else's shoes, I suppose, living somebody else's life, their feelings, their emotions, everything. And that wonderful feeling of knowing that you're going to be able to recreate that 8 times a week to different audiences, different reactions. And that satisfaction of when the curtain comes down in Act 1 and you go back to your dressing room and you can hear on the relay, you can hear all the voices, and inevitably they're all going to be in the bar or standing outside the theatre waiting in anticipation what's going to happen in Act 2. And then the curtain goes up, Act 2 begins. At the end of the show, that round of applause from the audience, and then the curtain falls and we all go back to the dressing room. And that excitement of knowing that we've probably touched thousands of hearts, told that story, people have gone away and thought about it, did it affect me? And to me, this is just something that we cannot lose. We cannot let this go. We are part of the British heritage. And all I would say to our government is we don't want to be consigned to history. So if you really care about us, really care about our industry, please listen to us and don't let us go. Thanks.
Hi. Okay, I've been asked what do the arts mean to me. I had to write it down, so bear with. Imagination. The arts spring from the well of our souls. Then, in turn, they feed the soul. They are a channel for self-expression, for connection. Think of all the paintings and drawings little children do, that they create for their families, of their experiences, trying to express how they see the world around them. They challenge our perception. Look at the works of Dali and Picasso. They accompany us through our highs and lows. They're playing our tune. Think of how music can cheer us, thrill us, make the hairs on the back of our necks stand up. I urge you actually to watch the National Theatre's production of Amadeus, which will be online for free, and join Lucian Musumati's masterful Salieri as he breaks into a million tiny pieces on hearing Mozart's genius for the very first time. The arts move us to bursts of laughter, to tears, to understand ourselves better. They hold up a mirror to nature. They inform, they educate, they challenge. They transport us to another time, to another world. Think of that moment of expectation as the lights in the theatre go down and we await for our disbelief to be suspended and our imagination to be taken on a journey. As the story unfolds, we might recognise ourselves in the characters, or we are brought closer to understanding others. Or we're left deep in thought about the status quo. Think of how television and film take this stretch of the imagination even further and present a reality on our screens. Remember the times you've been drawn so close to the protagonist that you laugh and cry along with them. You even grip your seats or your partner's hand. You shout, "No, don't do it!" at the television. We've all been there. The arts mean this to me, and so much more. As an actor, I think I get to walk in other people's shoes, and I let my imagination and those shoes take me along with them. Thank you. Save our arts.
What does the arts mean to me is a big question, because the arts is such a big umbrella which covers so many things. And I think the thing that, whether you're in the industry or not, if you're in the industry, yes, then you have an insight. But if you're not, we all take it so much for granted. Because the arts is all around us. It is ingrained into our everyday life. And that is where people forget and sort of sometimes dismiss the industry. And that's wrong, because there's not a day that goes by where we don't listen to music or watch TV or, you know, Netflix, or, you know, just an advert on the TV or the radio. You're constantly absorbing content created under the umbrella of the arts, whether you realise it or not. I definitely do. And I think that shows how much of an impact, if we lose the quality of our industry, that our lives would definitely be worse off than they are now. Yes, sometimes the arts is a luxury, but to lose that luxury at all would be devastating. Yes, for some the theatre is this high-priced, you know, let's go for a birthday treat, and that's great. For others, though, don't forget, apart from the West End, you've got those smaller theatres, those independent theatres, those ones where they allow new works, fresh talent to go on that stage and show what they've got. And where is that breeding ground going to be? There is nowhere else for creativity like those venues. And the one magical thing about theatre, and this is what the arts mean, is that it's a collective experience. You, along with others, get to experience something live, in person, that is unique to you. Yes, that show may perform for another 400 nights, but it will never be the unique performance that you saw that night. And that's what the arts means to me. I think hopefully that's what the arts means for all of us.
Hello there, I'm Susanna May. I'm an actor and I live in Birmingham in the West Midlands. Aside from the crucial revenue, the secondary revenue as well, let's not forget that the arts provides for us in this country, I'd like to discuss what the arts does for our mental health. If you think about it, when you book a ticket to go to see a play or to the ballet, whatever it is that you're looking forward to seeing, you have something to look forward to. You have something different in your normal routine, something that takes you away from the stresses and strains of a week or a day. Now, I think that's really important. Crucially as well, it's lovely to be able to go to the theatre with your family and your friends. Absolutely brilliant, because you've got something to discuss. You've got that shared experience. But also, I think it's wonderful that we can enjoy the arts, whatever it is that we want to go and see, on our own. It's something that we have a choice about. We can go, and it doesn't matter what the reason is or what it is we want to see, or we might just want to literally just be spontaneous on a particular day or night. But we can do that. We can go and enjoy something for something's sake. And I really think it helps our emotional and mental well-being. So many people who feel isolated, they can go to the theatre, go and see a concert, and it's almost like having a bit of a sort of a hug around you, really, because you're sitting with an audience, you don't know any of them, but you're all sharing this wonderful piece that you're seeing. You take something home with you. You take something away. And it's enriching. It bucks people up. Where would we have been during this lockdown without wonderful television drama and streamed theatrical performances and music and everything that the arts has to offer? We mustn't lose that.